Oh. Hello. Welcome to another episode of Survival Guys. Today, I don't know if you can see, but I'm clearly in my tent. I have a campsite kind of set up, and yeah, I got my stuff in here, so why don't you come on and I will show you around of survival gear right back behind me there. Whoops, over behind me there. As you can see, there's my total survival gear, and I will be showing you a lot of survival gear stuff. So yeah, so I will be going over some stuff about survival gear, like I said earlier. So yeah, it's been a long time since we put out a video about different survival gear. So yeah, I've got a ton of stuff. We'll be going over to some stuff like plates, trying to get this out carefully. Hatchets, which I will be very careful with and I will not use. And the most important survival piece yet, something that's secret. Blur it. It's blurred. Okay. Guess we blurred the whole time. So yeah, let's start with maybe plates, just to get them over with. So I have got a plate right here, and you want to always have plates, because what are you going to eat on? Your hand, and you want to make sure they're always clean. So that's a nice thing with fairly dirty water that you can't drink with. You can use them. You can use it to clean and stuff. But yeah, of course you're going to want to kind of make sure that the water is fairly clean. That way you're going to turn on there. So yeah, we've got a plate here, and I will put it over there. So yeah. Next is you need something to dry your plates on. So I've got one of these. It's fairly stubborn with me. It doesn't like to cooperate, for me at least. So it's been kind of tough for me to show you. But the point is you somehow put it up and you set your plates on top and they'll be able to dry or something. Yeah, you put them in like that, or yeah. So they're really handy to have. Put them over there. So yeah, next is we're gonna go with tarps, because you need something to build your shelter with. I've got a tent, but you won't always have a tent, and plus those are really heavy to carry around depending on the size of them. This tent actually comes in a backpack. It actually is you kind of like throw it, and it won't pop open, but yeah, it'll kind of pop open. Anyway, but yeah, if you don't have one of those, you need a tarp. So any kind of tarp. This one's kind of clear. But yeah, tarps are really handy to have because you need your shelter. So yeah, and you can use them for various things. If you're camping in the snow, you can make different kinds of tarp shelters. And yeah, or you could just lay it out, put your firewood on there if you're gonna make a campfire, because you do not want your firewood to get wet. So if you let it in the snow, it could get even more wet than it possibly already is. So yeah, put it on over there. Next is a pair of shoes. You might be like, Kenneth, those are not shoes. These are shoes, but they've also got the holders on them. So if you open this right here, you'll find an extra pair of shoes. So yeah, extra pairs of shoes are always handy to have. You could have sandals, or you could have shoes, or you could have hiking boots, or you could have boots, stuff like that. As long as they're not terribly heavy, because of course you want to pack light. So yeah, shoes are always handy to have. Because sometimes you might have to walk in them, and yeah. And these kind of things, you could even use them so that bugs will not get in them. There is a way you could put socks over your shoes if you have like long over ankle shoes. But yeah, we probably won't do a video about that. But you could look up on Google, or maybe even look up some other videos on YouTube, good ways to cover your shoes. So yeah. Next is a backup pillow or a pillow. You can't fit this gigantic pillow into your backpack. You're gonna need a way to put it in your backpack. You could, if you have a really massive backpack, you could put it in. But I don't recommend doing that. You could get some that are blow-ups, but those like that are that size. But if you don't have that kind of money, you can get some blow-up ones. This is a really, really small one. Yeah, you can just, it's better than nothing. So you put your head on it and you just sleep. So yeah, it's fairly uncomfortable. What would you rather have, no pillow or a pillow? I think I'd rather go with the pillow. So yeah, put that on over there. Next is something that is going to be very, 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 very useful, yet very dangerous. A knife. Now this is in the sheath, so I will not be opening it, but you want to be very careful. And I'm going to give you a really big hint on what the most important survival thing is if you do cut yourself with a knife. This will help you be able to help it so you can treat those cuts, I guess you could say. Yeah, I'm gonna maybe do 5 more things and then go to the secret item. So next, you're gonna want a knife sharpener. So there are several different ones, this is one of them. I'm not gonna show you how to do it because that'd be too dangerous. But yeah, knives are useless. We might do a video on how to sharpen knives. Of course, we'd be wearing gloves, and we would be super careful, and we might even have a parent nearby just in case. And we'd also have the secret item close by. So I'm giving you too big of hints. Go ahead and like if you know what the item is. If you don't know what it is, don't like or dislike. So just don't do anything if you don't know what it is. But at the end of the video, when you do know what it is, like it. So yeah, and subscribe, of course, if you're not already. That'll really help out the channel. Share these videos and watch them over and over. So yeah, anyway, so yeah, these are gonna be very helpful. But yeah, we'll put that over there. Next, a map. So of course you're gonna need a map to wherever you're going. You could get maps at maybe gas stations or someplace, or you would buy them online of the forest you're going in, maybe, or your town or stuff like that. Just so that way you can figure out if you've got a big map of your state and you know where the national forest you're in, camping in, and you also know the closest service station, I guess. You could find it on there and be able to call in or go there. So yeah, next is we're gonna go with something that helps you stay warm, I guess. Hold on. Okay, this is our third item until the the secret one. So, a flint. This will help you be able to start campfires, so you can keep yourself warm. In this tent, I am really hot right now. I've got a long sleeve shirt, but yeah. So yeah, put that on over there. They are really helpful. So yeah. Item number 4 until secret item. Backpacks. So of course, we're talking about all this stuff and blah blah blah. The main question, what are you gonna hold them all in? You can't just go with armfuls of stuff and pocketfuls of stuff. You need a backpack. It'll really increase your chances of surviving if you have something like that. So yeah, you can get backpacks or stuff like that. So now the fifth item until the secret item. We're gonna go with hot pads. Now hot pads are really helpful because when you're doing a campfire and you have some boiling water, you don't want to burn your hand. That would be one of the dumbest ideas ever. So yeah, you're on a hot pad and you want to be able to carefully grab it. You could get some oven mitts, but yeah, any hot pad is just helpful. So, and now for the secret item. Suspense music. Or first, drum roll please. And now, suspense music. And now, more drum roll. The first aid kit. The most important item of all time for survival. Do not go in the wilderness without one of these. Your survival, the chances of you surviving is very low if you don't have one of these. I mean, if you're camping in a place where there's like in the city or something, there could be a hospital right next door. But anyway, still, you would want one of these. They have got all kinds of things. Go ahead and see this video over here. Don't click it because you can't click it. It's edited. But yeah, that's the video to see what this really is. So yeah, that is the most important item of all time. That'll really increases your chances of survival. So next is, if I can get this. Right now, yeah, subscribe, like, watch our videos over and over. It'll really help out the channel, like I said before. By the way, guys, I don't know if you realized, but we are halfway, a little over halfway to 100 subscribers. So you guys are doing amazing. Keep subscribing if you're already subscribed, and let's say your dad or mom isn't subscribed. Walk up to them and ask them $1 million question. Why aren't you subscribed to Survival Guys? That's a good question. So yeah, of course you want to be subscribed. Anyway, rope. You need rope. Your tarp shelter cannot be built without rope. Actually, I know a few ways that you could build a tarp shelter without rope, but anyway, that's beside the point. You still need rope. Yeah, there are only maybe like, I could think of one tarp shelter that you can build without rope. And that alone is a very hard tarp shelter. So yeah, you need rope. One of the most important survival things. Next is, how are you going to see in the dark? You need a lantern, a flashlight, or a headlight. I might do a headlight or a flashlight later, but yeah, for now, this is the lantern. So yeah, you can easily put it up in your tent or stuff like that. So anyway, there's that. And I'm going to use a less dangerous one. We've got a hatchet, a mini hatchet, but instead it's got its cover on, so I cannot cut myself. So I'd rather not get cut. I know I did the intro with that one, but I kind of deeply regret it. So I did not get cut, thankfully. I am perfectly fine. So we've got a hatchet. You could use it to chop your wood to start your fire. You could use it for defense versus creatures, which I don't know why you would, because that's dangerous. Or yeah, just overall a really helpful thing. This one has a little thing, so I could clip it onto my belt or something. And yeah. Next is, we're gonna go with preferred that you drink out of a cup instead of your hands. So yeah, a cup is very helpful. You could use it even to store things. Like if you have it in your backpack instead of outside, That takes up so much space. Do you see how much space there is in there? You can stick little stuff in there. And if your cup so happens to have a cover on top of it, put stuff in there. You wanna pack light, but you also wanna have a bunch of survival gear with you. So yeah, this is the kind of thing you clip on the outside or on the inside or carry around. So yeah. Next is stakes. You're also gonna need to how should I put this? Keep your shelter up. I guess could say. Stakes are really helpful. And yeah, you can use them for several things. You can even use them if you catch fish. Like these are bendy. Not all of them are, but you could even use them if you catch fish. Of course, you don't want to hold them by the mouth all the time, so you could even put them on here, the bendy ones or something. Put them on here, hold them, and then tie it to some rope, or make another hook on the other end. Tie it to some rope and hang it in a tree for now, or even put it over the fire so it'll cook. So yeah, stakes are very, very helpful. Next item is survival handbook. You always want survival handbooks because you're gonna be like, oh, how do I make a tarp shelter? If you're not watching our videos like you should be watching our videos. But if you don't, or if you missed that, and you need to make a tarp shelter, you can look it up in your handbook if it shows. And that's how you make a tarp shelter. By going to YouTube, looking up survival guys, and finding our tarp shelter video. Nah, I'm just kidding. But yeah, it could happen in there. I mean, of course, you want to look up the videos and stuff. But yeah, anyways. Next, we're going to go with binoculars. Binoculars are helpful, so that way you can see how far away an animal is. Like you see, there's a bear way over there. You don't want to walk up to it and make sure it's a bear. You get out your binoculars and you look. Oh yeah, that's not a bear, it's a deer. So yeah, binoculars are very helpful. They are kind of optional though, but yeah, I still think binoculars are helpful. Maybe not as big as these, but you can get others. Next, where's that one? Another very important item. I don't know where. Oh, it's right here. Okay. Probably the second most important item. I don't know, there could be others. Compass. Yeah, also watch that video that's over here. You can't click on it because I edited it in. But yeah, I have the name underneath it. So yeah. Yeah, so you can use a compass to find your direction, find out your bearings and stuff like that. So I'm gonna set that aside. Next item, a shovel. You need to be able to dig holes or something for your campfire, stuff like that. So yeah, shovels are very, 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 very helpful. So there. Next is probably, I would say, actually, you know what? This could be the second most important item of all time. The carabiner. Carabiners are very helpful to clip on stuff. Yeah, let me get item real quickly. Okay, so you got your pot right here. You can't just stick in your backpack because that'll take up too much space. Even though you got this, that you could stick it all in. But yeah, you're gonna need a carabiner to clip it on, and then clip it to your backpack. So yeah, and now we're gonna just jump on to pan. They are very helpful to boil water, make beans, stuff like that. Yeah, how to boil water. Check right down here. Got the name under there. And yeah, so there are those two. Next is not one that you entirely need, a tape measure. You can take a tape measure to measure, let's say you were camping and you caught a fish. And you're like, wow, this is big. I want to show my family. So for one thing, you take a picture with your whatever, and then you take your tape measure and you measure it. And then you're like, oh, that's how big it is. So yeah, it's pretty big fish. So yeah, or you can measure the length between trees if it's a fairly large tape measure, sorry. That way, and then you measure your rope and you're like, I can't quite make my tarp shelter here. It's not close enough. So yeah. Next will be flashlight. Of course, you're gonna need a flashlight because you could have your lantern, or you could have your flashlight, or you could have your headlight. Yeah, these are very, very helpful. Yeah, they're also one of the most helpful survival things of all time. Next item, I'm sitting on it. I don't know if you can exactly see. Let me show you this right here, because it is one of the most important, the sleeping bag. You're definitely going to want a sleeping bag because you're gonna need to lay on it, and you need something like your pillow to lay on too. So yeah, there's that. So yeah, I'm running out of time, so we'll just end the video right now. Thanks for watching this episode of Survival Guys. Subscribe, like, share our videos over and over. And yeah, share. That'll really help out the channel. Subscribe, like, and share. They're all somewhere down here. Yeah, you should see them when you first click on the video. So yeah. Those will all help out the channel. This is your last video. It's right here. Let me say it again. It's right here. So yeah, go ahead and click on that video and watch the last video. I am going to get back to sleep because you guys interrupted my nap. So I'm going to sleep.